Does this 100-year-old spring-powered candle idea actually work? Can you make an emergency hose with a spring? And is this do-it-yourself bike suspension the best or worst idea in the world? Today we look at public submitted life hacks from 1910 that use springs to see if these techniques are forgotten gems of knowledge, or if they were just crazy ideas sketched on a napkin at a pub by people in top hats who just wanted to get their name published in a magazine. Let's jump straight into our old book and learn how to make an emergency hose. When in need of a short piece of hose for a siphon one day, and having no ordinary hose at hand, I proceeded to make one from a blind roller spring and strips of oilcloth. The oilcloth was cut into strips 1 inch wide and then wrapped around the spring in a spiral. The oilcloth is shown at A and the spring in B in the sketch, just in case you didn't know what a spring was. Adhesive tape would have been much better, but the oilcloth did good service. Let's head out to the shed and see if we can make a siphon hose from a spring and some old rags. For our emergency hose, we need a blind roller spring. I don't think I have one of those, but I have some other springs. So the best I've got is these pop-up sprinkler springs that I've just kept because I'm like, might need to make a hose one day. They're not long enough, so I'm thinking what we can do, if we can untangle them, I might just tack them together with the welder, just to get a hose-like length. Maybe 4 of them? I'll go 5, maybe 4. It's hard to imagine a time just not having a hose or something on hand that you can dig up from somewhere. Actually, I'm gonna try and be true to the time and not weld. In case he needed a longer spring, he probably would have twisted more springs together with some wire. Just a good old-fashioned spring wire twisting. The f***'s the end of the wire? Just cut off little bits and then try and twist it together. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna weld. Making ourselves a garden hose. This is gonna be pretty shitty. It's doable, but I feel like just tacking it together with a welder would be better. Doable, gonna skip it. How's this for a jig to hold the springs in place? Oh, that's gone. Oh, that's big gone. The spring is, because I've got the earth down here, the spring has become a big resistor, and you can see there's a burn line, a burn spiral down there. So I think I'll have to put it close, like there. Zap, zap, zap. The wood smells great. That was a mess, but we can get this off, and we've got the foundation for our hose, if we can get it off. Shut up. What the f***, science made it get tighter? Ah. Okay, we've got a bit of a spring. Just some little repairs and we're good. All right, because the last one broke off, I tried to just wire it on, and yes, wiring it on is hard, and 2 of them have already broken. So I'm gonna wire it and weld it. Making springs. And we now have ourselves this shocking looking mess. So oilcloth is made from linseed oil, and I've got some here, it's raw linseed oil, but locally I can't see anywhere you can get the stuff that quick dries because this dries really slow. This will take weeks to dry. This is an emergency hose. So to make linseed oil quick drying, you have to boil it, but they normally add some drying agents to it as well, which I don't have, is what I thought. But then I found a really old school recipe. So I remembered I've got this from the arc lamp video, and these have manganese dioxide in them. So we can give the old method of doing it a go. We'll have a go, we'll give it a crack. Pour in the old linseed oil. They reckon it's a tiny amount you need, 0.5%, which would be about, that'll do. And mix it in. But then we have to heat it. So I'm gonna set up the gas stove with lots of ventilation, because the thing we've got with this is, if you overheat it, it just spontaneously combusts, apparently, which would be bad. The f*** is that? All right, now I've been at this for a while, and it doesn't look any different. But I think that's all the attention that I want to give it for now. Might just have to be slow drying. We have our boiled linseed oil, a bit of PVC. Put the spring on. So that should be good. The PVC pipe should stop the rag sagging and collapsing in as I go. So 1 inch wide strips, so that's like 2.5 centimetres in Australian. I'm gonna try and cut these together so we get an extra long strip. Would be good. Stupid right-handed scissors. Now our oil, let's see how that looks. Well, it's not too bad actually. I thought it was all black and full of, full of old batteries. How's that for some nice toxic golden syrup? So getting this started is gonna be a hard bit. I guess that's why using oilcloth that was already oiled might actually be a bit easier. But I can't see how that's gonna seal. For a siphon hose as well, it's gonna let air in. Putting a bandage on a spring. Oh, this is gonna be a top-notch hose. Like they say, person who knows how to make a hose gets all the hose. And going back in the reverse direction. Just wrapping some hose. How do I finish it? Tuck it into the end. Probably won't be a good thing for a hose. Get some oil on there. Soak her in. So the other important question is, what was he trying to siphon exactly? Because I can't imagine this holding up very well for petrol. But we'll see. I think we'll try water. The other thing we've got to keep in mind with this is linseed oil soaked into rags can spontaneously combust. So when I leave this for the afternoon and overnight, I'm just gonna put it on the neighbour's porch, just in case. So I'll probably leave it at that for now and we'll revisit it tomorrow, but place your bets in the comments. Is it gonna work? Actually, before that, I should see if it is gonna come off the PVC pipe because this might glue it on there. And then it will work though, because it's already a pipe. I'm gonna try and pull the pipe out because I think it will dry quicker as well if air can get all the way through the middle. And a hose was born. Let's let it dry somewhere else. I gave it 2 days and it hadn't dried. And then I unwrapped it and then tried to dry each strand of material. Then a day later, it was still tacky and I rewrapped it while it was tacky, have given it another day and it's actually dry. We've made ourselves a hose. So we're just gonna try water. I've set this up, we've got a high container of water and we'll try and siphon it into this one, see if it actually keeps the siphon going for the duration of the water container. Maybe I'll submerge the whole hose so it's full of water. Cover the end. That's working. I think it's just draining out what's in the hose. A bit more height there. I think I'm just scooping it out. It seems to be getting worse. All right, new plan. I'm gonna try and pump start it with this pump. And once it gets going, it should keep going. Oh, you can literally see the hose leaking. I mean, that explains it then. So I guess maybe if there was just more layers, it could work, but for an emergency, it's not a good solution. Maybe I'll revisit this one day, give it more time to dry. So, for this 1910 life hack, I give it 2 mustaches out of 5. Now this next 100-year-old life hack really intrigued me. It's an automatic feeding candlestick. The sketch shows the parts of a candlestick that make up the self-feeding arrangement to make the candle appear at all times full size. The main body of the stick is cast in one piece and bored to receive a common wax candle. The top end of the stick has a removable cap for inserting the candle, and the bottom is fitted with an open spring, and the entire outside surface is covered with a coat of white enamel to make it resemble a candle. They'll have no idea that my candle is automatic, because it's hiding in this white enamel. It actually looks quite hard to make. Like, he's got this cap that is somehow threaded into this other material. I don't know if he's machined this up himself. Like, what is he using? He must have made this on a lathe. I wonder if anyone has actually ever made this in the last 110 years. Let's try it out. I have 6 white household candles. Looks exactly like what's in the picture. In the candle tube box. Like that. That size. That'd be good for our candle projector. PVC would be easier to work with, but I can just imagine we'll end up with a plastic fire. The spring from the old spring box, but this guy here, I don't know what that's from. That's gonna be perfect. But even as it is, that's pretty good. Candle rocket launcher. He's got a removable top cap to insert the candle, but I think we'll do a bottom loaded candle, because that'll be easy. We can just put a bolt through it to stop it coming out the bottom. But then, I can't manufacture that top with a screw cap. So I'm thinking I'll get a washer, weld that on there. That hole size should hopefully be about right. And then the candle will go up to that. And then a washer that'll go on the arse end of the candle and a spring. So I think the thing is now we just have to work out how long this tube has to be so it uses up the whole candle. Because you don't, holy shit. Might wear safety glasses. I really don't know if this is gonna work. Like, I can just imagine it melting and pooling with hot wax and then the spring tension and then just firing hot molten wax in your face. Either that or you just get like an air bubble and the whole thing explodes. So I need to work out the tube length, allowing for the spring to be able to compress. Can we compress the spring that much? Well, that's gonna be dangerous. That's gonna be one tight spring. Crap, I just realized it's probably not gonna work because imagine how hard it's gonna be to feed the spring in. Compress that much. That's gonna be dangerous. Okay, a longer bit of pipe and then a spring loader, which will have a notch in it so we can press the spring in, put a bolt through, and then pull that out. And then it explodes. No, we get a nice candle burn. First things first, we're gonna weld a washer on the end. So I'll put the washer on there. Okay, that's welded. I didn't go too crazy on cleaning it up because I figure that looks more like a wax candle that's melted a bit. And because my welds are a bit shit. Now, just need to drill a hole for the bolt to go through that will hold the spring. So then we can put a bolt through there to hold the spring in. And now I just need to make a notch in the wood so it'll go up and go on either side of the bolt. So like that kind of shape. There we go, we've got a notch in there which will fit around the bolt while hopefully pushing the spring in. It says a coat of white enamel. We have to do that to be true to the original. So it will look like a candle, just a really long candle. It looks pretty similar. It's not the same white, but that'll do. Are we able to load a candle into its candle barrel? That looks pretty good. Then our spring goes in. It's compressing. Oh, I think that's good. Oh yeah, that is perfect. That's done. I've got a loaded candle. Oh, there's a fair bit of pressure on there. Then is our candlestick holder. I'm gonna use a vise, and that fits in there. And there we go. It's like lighting a firecracker. Hopefully it will just work. Now, how do I trawl for such information online? Well, that is with today's sponsor, Opera. Now, I knew Opera was a popular browser, but I have to admit, I hadn't ever gotten around to trying it out myself until recently, but it's actually been really great for my workflow. For example, I've always got several thousand tabs open in my browser, which my wife hates. But now with Opera, I'm really enjoying their Tab Island function, which lets you drag and group tabs together for different topics, which you can then collapse and expand as needed to keep things organised. Like here, I have a Tab Island open where I've been researching early bike suspension. Then here are my tabs regarding old ways to make linseed oil dry faster without causing a fire. But then at any given time, I've got 5 to 10 weather pages open because that's my kink and don't judge me about it. But now I can easily drag and group these together and expand them as needed. Also, the split screen feature is super quick and easy to drag tabs down into, allowing you to compare 2 pages side by side. No more messing about with multiple windows like I used to. Another feature I'm really liking is the ability to pop out videos from their player. So for example, I was watching a video of a bloke giving some gardening advice, but then I can just click here at the top and pop the video out, and then I can continue watching it while working on my technical diagrams outside of the browser. But Opera also features a built-in music player which doesn't interrupt you browsing. You can access all your favourite flavours of music service on the side here, and then undock the player controls and move it inside and outside of your browser. The Opera browser is free to download. Feel free to jump on their website to give it a go yourself. Thanks to Opera for supporting this channel. So I guess the decider will be once the wax melts down, obviously. It's a bit of a waiting game now. Yeah, that's leveled completely out now. You're starting to dent the top in a bit. As far as the purpose goes, the only thing I can think that would be an advantage, if you needed the candle at a specific height, if you were heating something at a certain height, or you were using like a reflector behind it. They used to have lenses and stuff sometimes, so it would project the light. Come on, candle feeder, if it goes out, he was full of shit. What an exciting time in candle world. Boop. Nah, it's barely holding on. I'm gonna drill a bigger hole and ventilate the shed a bit because it's starting to stink like paint. Okay, I've drilled a bigger hole, which is 11 millimeters, which is about, I don't know, 7 toenail in American money. Just quietly though, I reckon this bottom feeding plunger arrangement has worked out to be a top-notch idea. That's pretty easy, done. I mean, the only downside is as you service all your candles, you have to carry a massive broomstick around. And we can light her up. This time you better work. Oh, it's already going out. Oh, what? Yep, it's really gone. Can't even light it now. So I think we should go a bigger hole again. Spring is way jammed up. The washer is flipped. Oh, there we go, the washer's moving. And I think the spring has gone sideways. And now we have a hazardous candle. And I can't even look in the end to see what's going on because there's a chance it's just gonna fire into my eye. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna go 13 millimeter. That's my biggest drill bit. Any bigger and the candle's just gonna come out the top though. This is as big as we can go. This is the big test. And back to waiting. So I think it might be working now. I think that hole size is good. I swear I've heard the spring tick a couple of times, but there's no way that you can tell. But I mean, it looks good. It looks like it's doing the job. Something else I've noticed with this, which is an advantage, is it doesn't spill wax on you when you move it around. Okay, the verdict on the automatic candle feeder. To be honest, I really didn't think this would actually work at all, but it's working exactly as described, which is pretty cool. But the downsides, it's not easy to make at all, and you don't know how much fuel you've got left because you can't see how much candle is left in there. But the worst thing of all that I've found, it's really hard to relight it. If that goes out, you pretty much have to take the candle out and cut the wax back and then feed it back up. I don't know what its purpose was, but it's a pretty cool novelty. So I would rate this 1910s life hack 4 mustaches out of 5. This one seems pretty intriguing. Spring fork for bicycles. The vibration on the handlebars of bicycles caused by running over a rough road may be eliminated by attaching a spring fork. Such a contrivance that requires no special skill to make is shown in the accompanying sketch. No special skill, just easy. Just slap them spring forks on there. The method of working is apparent. You know, looking at it, the whole thing seems really flimsy. Let's head out and make some bicycle suspension. So we've got the anal eliminator from one of my other videos, and I've changed the post backs, so safe to sit on. There's no way I was getting on the other one. So looking at it, I really don't feel like this is gonna be safe. Bikes must have been different back in the day because if we go through here, this is just like a fork where this bolt goes through. It must have been a hole 100 years ago because they've got a rivet through there and somehow that stays on. I imagine doing exactly what they've done here. And if you go over a bump, just the whole front wheel's gonna come off. And there's only one measurement given. So 2.5 inches is where the wheel will sit. But how long the thing is at the back is kind of critical as well, and the springs. So I'm just gonna match it visually the best I can with how it's been drawn. Oh, and also the brake's not gonna work because the wheel's gonna be moving independently, so we're just gonna have back brakes. Actually, here's another issue. If you hit a big bump and the wheel fully compresses, it's just gonna bottom out in here, front wheel's gonna lock up, and you go over the handlebars. So to stop that happening, I'll weld in a bump stop just so the wheel doesn't go too far, and as an extra backup, I'll install a roller at the top, disabling the front brakes. because now hitting a bump will be our brakes. Brakes removed, now remove the front wheel. So in the instructions, we've got part B. So the good news is I can cheat with that bit. I've already got something that'll work. It's the generator that actually came with this bike. I've got 2 of these, so I can just clamp that straight on and that'll hold the spring. So I'm just gonna chuck the hooks on there for now. Right about there should do it. Now this sucks. I don't have a spring that's even close to what they've described, but I've got the spring on my lawnmower. This is the closest one in size. If I cut it in half and then put extra hooks in there, that looks about right. Hopefully I can put another hook in there. Otherwise I've just ruined the lawnmower for nothing. There. Oh man. How is that? One shortened spring. It's not pretty, but we got there. Hopefully they hold up. So now I just need to make figure 1. We're using some flat iron. I've cut 4 strips of metal and I've drilled some holes in there already. All right, I just have to try and make this little bend here so it will go around the forks. Because at the moment, it's just gonna try and sandwich it like this. Bicycle fork sandwich. We'll use the old enticing stick. Oh, I f***ed that up already. Unentice. Entice. And then we've ended up with that, exactly like the picture. So that is gonna go right there, and the front wheel is here. That's so dangerous. There's not gonna be much holding that on except this hook. So I just need to put a couple of bolts in here, but looking at this, I've just realized a massive reason why this won't work. See if you can see it as well. Otherwise, we'll just press on and see if it actually does work or not. I've put our bolts through to hold it together. Got high hopes for my DIY 1910 suspension. The good thing about this concept is if you do a few holes, you can adjust how strong the spring is, or if you just want to adjust your ride height for street or off-road. Let's see if I can sneak our hooks in there, hopefully. Get the f in there. Yes. So this would make changing your tyre really hard. Ready to put some springs in. I mean, really, so far so good. Doing, 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 doing. I've put the springs on, but the hooks on the forks have to go way higher. Let's raise these up a little bit. So one of the issues I can see is if you and the boys are down at the locomotive yard doing some sick jumps, if you get some air, the spring is just going to come unhooked. So it needs like an end stop, something to stop it going too far that way. So it's already undone there. The big moment, let's turn it over. No front brakes, got to remember that. Safety glasses on. Might be a bit too tight, so I'll back it off to a different hole. So far so good. It actually looks kind of cool. I've backed it up to the last hole, so it should be a lot springier now. We'll give that a go. That feels pretty good. It actually feels a bit better than my regular bike. It's a bit softer. That's actually genuinely a lot better than I thought it would be. Huh, that feels pretty good. Like it dampens it as well. It's not too bouncy. I like that. For what it is and how cheap it is, not really that easy, but for parts around the shed, that's pretty good. It's just spun around and slid down. Oh, now it's unhooked. So I mean, I'm definitely gonna give this a ride, but don't think I'm gonna be doing any jumps with it because I'm kind of enjoying being injury-free at the moment. For just using parts I already had on hand around the shed, that's pretty good. Like this bike did not have any front suspension before, now it does. But we haven't ridden it yet, so let's give that a go. It's holding up. Not too bad. So I mean, this does work, but the issue I thought that might happen, which is happening, is these are both independent. So these are moving separately. Go around a corner and then the tyre just goes off to the side and rubs on the side of the forks. But on a modern bike, the forks are connected here with this guy. And that also allows you to have some brakes as well. It stops the axle going sideways and you falling off and going over the handlebars. So I think it would just be a case of these two being connected around the back with something quite rigid, and then the whole thing should move together. All right, let's test it going through the corner. This is where I think it might come unstuck. Yep, there's the issue I was predicting might happen earlier. Oh, that's bad there. But as far as like the suspension goes, it almost feels better than my normal bike. It's actually really soft, like it feels like you got a flat tire. Apart from all the obvious issues, which I think commercial bikes had at that time anyway, I think this is pretty good still. I like that you can adjust the height of your bike and it absorbs the vibration, does what it's meant to do. You just have to ride carefully. But I'm giving this 5 mustaches out of 5. All right, full send.